Hello and welcome to this week's Busk podcast. This week we have a very special edition reacting to some of the things that have been going on in the world in the last few weeks. We cannot ignore the importance of the Black Lives Matter movement, especially as a theatre company that tells stories of social and political injustice. Also, for myself, as someone in a position of privilege who wants to be a producer and theatre maker, I've really recognised the importance of listening and learning so that we can actively make change. Today we have the first part in a two-part episode on Black Lives Matter. We have two very special guests this week, Tommy and Shak, and in this episode they will talk about their experiences whilst training at drama school.
Hello, my name is Tommy Barrett. I graduated from West Buford about 2 years ago. Since then, I've been lucky enough to work in different aspects of the industry, from musical theatre to acting muso work, to Shakespeare, to TV, etc. So I've luckily been allowed to experience a broad range of what the industry has to offer. I play many instruments. I like singing. I'm not a great dancer, but I'm trying. And yeah, lockdown is treating me well. Shak?
I'm Shak, Gabbidon-Williams. I graduated about the same time as Tommy, and 2018, isn't it?
Yeah, 2018, class of 2018.
I did Hairspray straight out of school, and then I've literally just finished Motown in January this year, and was meant to be in another show, but apparently COVID and 2020 had different plans.
Yeah.
So, as you say, like I was on tour for literally over a year, so I've seen all over the country and kind of experienced a lot of different stuff in different places. So it's been nothing but a blessing so far, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today, Shak. We really appreciate it. We were actually, before we started rolling, we were talking about our dissertations, and it turns out we sort of explored similar things. My premise was on what is diversity and how do we achieve that naturally with avoiding tokenism, and also about the intersection of race and class. So one of the topics that I'd like to discuss today is race in drama school. Now, as we all know, over Twitter and on Facebook and on many different social media sites, Instagram, I know a friend who did an Instagram sort of video about his experiences in drama school that got quite a good bit of traction. We have seen drama school after drama school issue statements in regards to the great Black Lives Matters movement that is really picking up steam now after the unfortunate murder of George Floyd, to show support to their black students. Unfortunately, a flood of experiences from black students who do not feel like they were appreciated, listened to, catered to, supported fully, supported at their full capacity as they would have liked it to be. And we hear lots of stories, we've heard lots of stories about microaggressions, about racist teachers, about just feeling completely outside of the sphere due to people's preconceived notions of us, and what they expect from us or what they expect us to be. I'm just wondering, how have you found the conversation surrounding these issues right now? Because I know it blew up on Twitter after every single drama school decided to bring out a statement.
Well, I think it was necessary that the people who spoke up against the schools did. Not that like we should be fighting against our schools and stuff, but it's actually important that we don't let institutions just provide lip service to the situation and follow a trend. And I think challenging the drama schools to do better it will only invite change. So it was interesting. Like for me, like I went to GSA and stuff, and we had quite a few situations in GSA that were happening actually at the time that we didn't know about when we decided to say something about what was going on. I remember I said something about drama schools on a tweet. I just said like the drama schools being very silent. I think about a day before they started posting the Black Lives Matter. And a girl at GSA, she messaged me and she was telling me all these stories things she'd been going through. And she was asking me like, oh, is there something wrong with me? Am I being out of order? And I remember that feeling of like, am I just being troublesome because every time I've got an issue, people are kind of acting like I'm overreacting, or I've got some sort of anger issue. And I remember
Mm.
that kind of like feeling of, wow, I'm kind of like on my own in this. But the only blessing I'd say that came out of me at drama school at the time was like there were more black people at GSA than there'd ever been at that time. So we kind of when we realized that like, oh, we're asking for things to be changed in the curriculum to suit everyone, so we can all feel included, and it's kind of falling on deaf ears, we kind of decided we're just going to do it ourselves. So there were two second years at the time. It was Corey Chambers and my friend Alyssa as well, and they decided we're just going to make our own thing. It was originally the Afro-Caribbean Society, and then it kind of became something like, it was called Together We See by the end, and it was just for everyone who wanted to come. And we're gonna do stuff on black playwrights, black dances, black songs, black musicals. So it became more about, okay, you won't teach us, so we have to teach ourselves. And as much pride as I feel about being a part of that, I do kind of feel like, where was my drama school? Because what happened from that was, they didn't really want us to do it, but they gave us the space to do it in order to do it.
Yes.
When it became popular and the university it was attached to wanted us to start doing things for their shows and their social events. Oh yeah, these are blacks.
Yeah.
And then like there was a lot of pride, but then there was still no change in the curriculum. So like, but yeah, we've had like loads of talks with people at GSA now, and we're hoping that things are going to start changing. But no, this is the same feeling we had when we were at school, was that, they listened to us and hopefully things will change, and they didn't. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, really.
And I think that's very, very interesting. Like, just seeing, you'd think after, because obviously there was a space, there was a demand and supply, there was a demand for this thing, after which I think it being given full support should have been something that happened from the start. I think one thing drama schools are lacking right now is proactive change. In how it deals and how it interacts with its black and Asian students all throughout. I was talking to other friends from drama schools who are still there right now. We're talking about how we can make it a more inclusive space. I think one of my friends' fears are that it feels, and I think that speaks to what you said before, Shak, it feels like we're asking for special treatment.
Yeah.
But I think so. I wrote my dissertation on diversity. You can't encourage the diversity that you would like if you do not create the space for it. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of institutions fail to realize. On the topic of drama school and race, one of the big things we were thinking about was how race and class intersect, and how a lack of diversity happens because drama schools become so inaccessible. So I was lucky enough to be a Londoner, and I only applied for one school, which was Rose Breford, and luckily I managed to get in. Mainly because of the audition fees. I still paid £50, thankfully, from my dad, and even that felt like it hurt a little bit. Yeah. But I believe, Benji, we were talking about the Theatre for Young Audiences project we did in second year.
In Dagenham.
Dagenham, meeting these really excited, vibrant, like, all I saw was like raw talent and raw something to be chiseled.
Yeah.
And they didn't see, because, and I think I can't remember where I heard it, but just like my parents, I think we're fighting to live. And they were fighting to survive, in reference to my parents. So like that encouragement of creativity to spring out in all endeavors, I don't think that was nurtured young, but it's always there still. And I think it's a testament to the creativity of people all around, working class and black and Asian, to not have the amdram from the age of 6, but still have it blossom, that creativity blossoming in us. But things like travel being quite expensive. If you're not in London, if you're traveling to auditions, auditions for drama schools in London, and you're from Glasgow, Yorkshire, Birmingham, money, it costs about £50 on average per drama school audition. I think Guildhall is now £85, £65, I can't remember, and then RADA after a certain time is £85. One of my hypotheses was this pricing sends a message, a clear message to many people who are looking to apply to drama school. So we basically have a few hurdles towards achieving a sort of natural diversity, although I think all diversity is natural, but in terms of what I mean. So I'm just wondering, what do you think about that, Shak? I guess what I'm putting forward is, what barriers do black people we face before we even come into drama schools or in the process of applying for it?
Well, really, like when it comes down to it, there's a number of things. And I remember when my first day at GSA, I remember a teacher, an amazing teacher as well. There's nothing against him. I think he just he asked me a question that was kind of like, at the time I didn't have an answer. And he asked me why black boys weren't going to drama school as much or weren't attending GSA. And then when I really kind of thought about it afterwards, it's more than that. It's the fees for drama school. I remember I went to a lot of auditions because I've been quite lucky in that I've never been rich, but my mum's never had a struggle or never had to feel like we were struggling growing up. So like, if I wanted to do something, maybe I was spoiled, but if I wanted to do something, she kind of did all she could to make it work. But yeah, shout out to mum for that. But
shout out to mum.
Yeah, I remember like £50 for auditions. The 3 actual drama schools I auditioned for were Arts Ed, Mount View, and GSA. And I remember going to Arts Ed, and I went to go to Arts Ed and Mount View and thinking, there's no way I can go to this school unless I get a DADA. And I'm not one of like hundreds of people who are here right now.
Yeah. So
I was like, these 2 schools are kind of like I'm kind of like here for fun, really, because I'm not going to get anything out of this. And then GSA, for me, GSA was the only logical choice, as well as like, it just happened to be the place I was the most comfortable at. But it was because we get student loans there. So like, I was on student loan the whole time. Yeah. And a few bursaries as well. But yeah, it's about the class. It's definitely as much about class as it is about race.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
It's just a thing across the board for working class people. They get put off by these big prices that are really kind of unnecessary. I've never gone to an audition. I never went to one audition at drama school and thought, yeah, that was worth the £50 because you're doing all the work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I understand that they kind of realize they kind of need to make money, but also we kind of need to save money because we're kids. And when we go to drama school, you're going to want us to pay for this as well. And when it's just an initial, like, I'm going in there to stand in and sing. Like GSA's first round, when I was at GSA, until until the year I left, it was just a singing round. You'd travel all the way to Guildford, sit around, nervous, go upstairs, sing about a minute and a half a song, go home for £50. I think if you're going to make it so expensive, you have to make it worthwhile for these students, these prospective students. I think it's an issue with that. I think, and also another issue with like particularly black kids not wanting to go to drama school is that I remember going to Mount View and arts and just not seeing any teacher that looked like me, and it's something about like feeling like you're represented within the staff system will change the whole perspective. I could probably argue that when I saw that the head of musical theatre at GSA was black, that might have drawn me further towards it. Because I remember the words he said to me were like, like you're gonna have to work 10 times harder than a lot of the students here, and like I was like, oh, this guy actually understands like all the feelings that I'm feeling right now. He understands that, and that kind of made me go there. And then he left in like half a year, so then it was just all of us by ourselves.
Mm.
Yeah,
No, no.
it's a number of factors.
All right. Wonderful. No, I completely agree with all your points, and I think if we are going to be um, making the process to get into drama school so expensive, we must either. I think Rose Bruford and Guildhall do schemes now for people of lower income, just to be able to audition. But what I'd hate is good talent to slip through the net.
Right.
And also, so I'm an immigrant. My parents are immigrants, so I came to this country when I was 7, and I think it took a long time for me to even consider a creative industry as something that I could do. I don't think I made up my mind till I was like late 16, 17, quite late. um, and just managed to just about get in. And then I felt, and because I started late, I felt like I was way behind of everyone. Or I had to do a lot of catching up, which I kind of had to do, which was the case. And I, once again, had to work a little bit harder to, I remember in first year, people would throw out playwrights' names, and I'm like, I don't know. Before I went to Bruford, I think I watched about 2 pieces of theatre, something at the Globe and then Teddy at the Southwark Playhouse, and that was it. So I just spent probably about the first year and a half just feeling like I need to get to where everyone's level is, because I'm new to this world. I'm not in this. I didn't sort of grow in this from a young age. But yeah, no, absolutely wonderful, Shak. I think quickly, I'd love to discuss the culture in drama school. I think one thing I took for granted was how diverse London was. I took growing up in, I went from city to city, went from Lagos, Nigeria to London, Southeast London. I've been here like basically my whole life, and I've taken all the interactions I've had for granted. So you have people coming in from all over the country, which is brilliant, which is great, and it's such a great way to sort of broaden your horizons in terms of interaction. But the amount of microaggressions I've seen from students, and like you're out in freshers, and you never. I think we can sort of speak about the angry black man, Shak. Or angry black woman. We would never want to be that, especially when you're out and about, even in the context of a classroom. I think it's something that we shouldn't have to live with, but we do. Even more so, and I think black women have just like another degree of that as well. Being always seen from so like Gloria, God bless her soul, and Ewa, I could see them in an interaction being completely reasonable, but they are automatically seen as the aggressor or being aggressive. Where confidence is something that's meant to be festered in people, not put down. So I'd love to like just get a quick thought on that. And I think another aspect of drama school I'd love to talk about is the assumption that we get a free ride because we're black.
Yeah, at school it was tricky because firstly we were in Guildford, and Guildford's population of black people is extremely low. It's like 5% or something ridiculous, which obviously you can't. It's a very middle class kind of area, so it is what it is. In my year, on my course, there were 4 black people. There was 2, me and Louise, my friend. We were the 2 that were fully black, and Maya and my friend Dylan. They were mixed race. So like, as like the only kind of black boy at the school, I remember hearing things like, "Oh, don't worry about it because you're just gonna work," or if an opportunity came, "Oh, you're just like, it's happening because," and you kind of at the time you don't really want to say anything because you feel like anyway, me having an opinion will always make me look like I'm the bad person or an angry person,
or you're attacking someone.
Exactly. And that was the kind of thing at GSA. Like I'd never had an issue with anyone in my year personally, like my actual course in my year. I remember hearing students being told that like, oh, they're getting literally the word being a guy speaking to another guy and telling him you're only getting these opportunities because you're black, and thinking it is funny to say it and like it's a bantery thing, but it's not funny.
No, it's not.
Because everyone at drama school works their backsides off, like
Absolutely.
endlessly trying to get to where they want to get. And actually for black actors, I think there's so many black actors that have the same mindset of we have to be the hardest working people in the room, that even though we might be a minority, it actually is kind of harder, especially as like a lot of shows in the West End that have black people only take probably like 2 or 3, like so it makes the percentage of black people that are doing theatre, it kind of doesn't really matter, because the percentage of black roles there are,
it's smaller. I think
more so at the time of drama school. When we, I mean, we have shows like Hamilton and stuff now, but at the same time, they only take the cast that they are taking. There's also, there's Lion King, they take about 30 people, and then you're kind of left with like, Donkey and Shrek, and like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely would love that role, but it's also, that's me, and then who else will be auditioning? 1,000 other people that look exactly like me. So it's not as like, it's not it's easier for you because you're black, and like being black was the cool thing to be at the time. Like it's not a trend. We've been around for a while. Yeah. Or before a lot of other people actually. So that's the thing. I'm kind of like, that was what I struggled with at GSA, and then kind of rediscovering my blackness when I got on tour. Like, because I was surrounded by so many white people, not that it's a bad thing at all, because I'm from Oxford, so like, I've never been like surrounded by black people really growing up anyway. But it was just something about, it started with Hairspray, when we kind of, obviously it's half and half. Yeah. And, like, but everyone was so interested in each other's culture in that show, like we wanted to learn more about each other. And then progressing that onwards into Motown, where literally nearly the entire cast by three men were black. So that was a complete like new experience for me to be in a show like basically an entire black cast, and just learning about like African culture and other Caribbean cultures. And like, and you'd think that that's something that I wouldn't have to worry about, but actually it's something that everyone needs to see, like taste a bit of
experience.
And I remember my friend saying to me from Motown the other day, he messaged me about during this whole Black Lives Matter movement, saying that like, I'm so happy that I got to spend time with you guys, because I've learned so much, and like I've realized how ignorant I was being by just saying I wasn't racist and carrying on, and like it shouldn't have taken me to be 26 years old to kind of realize that certain things aren't right and then fought against. So it was a blessing in disguise, but as you said, we did have a lot of awkward situations at different cities. Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you found that first part really informative. Please do join us next week as Tommy and Shak continue their discussion on their experiences within the industry. You can catch up on all the previous Busk podcast episodes on our website, www.thebohemianstheatre.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.